Hi, my name is Sandra Loyola Sandoval. I am a proud Chilean-Australian woman with Mapuche and European ancestry. I came to Australia in 1994 to Darug country and lived here for most of my adult life. Also, I have worked in Darug land for the past 10 years. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, water and skies of Canterbury Bankstown, the Darug people. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. We recognize and respect their Darug culture, heritage, beliefs, and their deep connection to this land. As a migrant, I am grateful for the warm welcome I've received on this country. It has been a privilege to grow, learn, work and raise my daughter on this grey land called Australia today. I also want to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Darug peoples whose land I work on. I am committed to honouring their culture, heritage and the significant contributions they make to this city. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Hi, I'm James, local resident of Canterbury Bankstown.
And I'm Anna, Community Development Worker in Canterbury Bankstown.
Canterbury Bankstown is rich in diversity, from the languages spoken, countries of birth, journeys to CBCity, along with the various identities, abilities, faiths practiced, achievements and multi-generations.
Together, we'll be interviewing a range of community members from Canterbury Bankstown. We'll be amplifying diverse voices from across the CBCity to give you an insight into other cultures. Together, we're working to create a great CBCity where we all belong, feel welcome, safe and embrace our differences. This is Voices of CBCity.
Adila Musavi is 16 years of age. When she was 13, she had to flee from Afghanistan. Coming to Australia without knowing a single word of English, she found herself trying to fit into a very new lifestyle and society. She currently goes to a local high school in the area. In October 2024, she won the Youth Inspirational Award at the Canterbury Bankstown Children and Youth Award Program. Thank you for joining us today, Adila. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, it's going good. It's pretty hot outside, but we'll stay in here in the air conditioning. So I remember when we talked on the phone last week, you seemed to talk about your life back in Afghanistan with a lot of love and passion. Can you tell us a little bit about what life was like for you growing up before you came to Australia?
Well, life in Afghanistan, it's simple, but also very hard to live. And I grew up in Afghanistan. Like, I came here when I was 13, but like growing up as a kid in Afghanistan, it's very good. Like, you feel alive in there. Like, we used to play outside in the streets like until it was dark outside, and my mom would just call me like, come inside, it's dark. It was totally different to Australia. It was very good in Afghanistan.
You said it makes you feel very alive. Can you tell us a little bit like what parts of it made you feel, or what was a moment that made you feel the most alive living there?
Well, playing with my friends outside, like all days after I finished school, and then we would just go and run outside, playing hide and seek. It was a very nice experience.
I'd imagine so. It reminds me a bit like when I was younger, there was like a little bush out the back, and we'd always come inside with like cuts and scratches because we've tried hiding in the trees and we've fallen out, and a whole long thing. Do you remember specifically the moment that you needed to evacuate your home in Afghanistan?
Definitely. I remember the day that I remember Taliban took over Herat. Like, it was 1 or 2 days after that. We were sitting and having breakfast in nearly 11 o'clock in the morning. And then my dad called us suddenly and he said, like, go to Kabul immediately. And if you could just get through the airport, that would be very good. And we had only 3 or 4 hours to take the tickets for Kabul. Yeah, like, I didn't know whether to be happy or sad. I was just jumping around because I was finally coming to Australia, meeting my dad after like a whole long time. Yeah.
So you hadn't seen your dad for a while before you guys had to flee?
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 years that I hadn't seen.
What was that?
I think the last time I seen him, it was 2017 or 2018.
Okay. Were you aware of what was going on with the Taliban the moment you had to leave, or was it sort of being kept under wraps by your family?
I had no idea what was going on in the airport in Kabul. I just thought like I'll go as a normal person going to the airport, like sitting next to the window on a seat, but it was completely different.
So it felt like a bit of a family holiday, is that right, when you had
Yeah.
to leave? Right, that's interesting. And do you remember the very first moment that you got off the plane and you've arrived in Australia? Do you remember what was the feeling of arriving into a whole different country?
The feeling, I don't know how to explain the feeling, but it was very strange. I like the first time I've seen like tall buildings. I was in the city, it was at night, and then when we got off the plane, it was just like lights from all over the city, and then when we got on the bus, it was very strange. It wasn't like anything that I've seen in my country.
Did it feel very alien-like, or?
Yeah, like in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, a little bit like a sci-fi movie, especially when there's so many high-rises everywhere. How about on the plane itself? Because was that the first time you've ever been on a plane?
Yeah.
Was it, were you nervous or were you excited?
Well, I kind of been traumatized from the plane when I left Kabul in the military air force. And then, I didn't like the plane after from Dubai to Australia.
I'd imagine
it didn't
so.
make me feel good, at all.
Yeah, it is a long way. I'm not sure how long the flight would be, but probably something upwards of 12 hours, right? Yikes. So, okay, so the first few months that you were living in Australia, you were 13 at the time, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the most difficult parts about living and starting a new lifestyle in Australia?
Well, definitely the language barriers. I studied English in my country 2 or 3 months before I came to Australia. But when I left my country, I forgot everything. I couldn't remember a single word of English when I came here. And that was very difficult. Kind of English was funny because every sentence, every word I was saying, I was thinking everyone is going to laugh at me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so difficult trying to learn a new language. For some reason, I'm trying to learn 4 at the moment, and you try and speak it, but then you have to get the accent right, and then you got to get the punctuation right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that go into learning a new language. Especially, you would have been in the deep end, right? If you're in Australia, all of a sudden you have to go to a new school where everyone's speaking the language, and to learn, you need to understand. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that have an effect on your life settling at school?
It was a big, huge effect on me because since then I became a hard worker. I always think about it that I have to do the right thing. I have to just make sure I know everything that I need because learning English wasn't easy.
Adila, did you go to an intensive English centre?
Yeah.
And how long was that for?
It was for a year.
For a year. And that's what you were doing full-time for the first year you arrived?
Yes.
Did you feel welcome in that intensive centre?
Yeah. At the beginning, like everyone, I didn't. But as I spent more time, I went to 5 days a week. It was great. I didn't want to get out of intensive English center to go to high school.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you made some new friends there, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Were they also from Afghanistan, or were they from different backgrounds?
Well, at that year, a lot of Afghan students came to intensive English center. Yeah, and I also met a lot of friends from other countries. That was very cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know of, can you name 1 or 2 countries that comes to mind?
Indonesia and also from Japan.
Japan, right? That'd be really cool. And how about trying to settle in with some new friends? So you had your friends back in Afghanistan, right? And then now you're over here trying to make a new social circle. Was there a barrier between trying to make new friends, and did you feel sort of disconnected from your friends back home?
I did. Like until now, I haven't had a word with my friends in Afghanistan. Like I don't know where they are. And yeah, when I came here, like making friends, it was kind of on social media. Like all of my friends, they were chatting on social media when they went home. Like I wasn't used to that. In Afghanistan, like we were just meeting each other all the time, after school, before school. But here it was different. You were just meeting them at school and online.
Is that right? So do you have no way of contacting your friends back home?
No, I don't have their number. And even my family, my relatives, my close relatives who lived in Afghanistan, after Taliban took over, we also got separated. They went into different countries.
Is that right? It's very interesting how the world relies so much on social media just for the basic of communication, that if you ended up having to move, you basically lose contact with those friends for a long time. So yeah, it wouldn't have been easy. What did you find were some of the difficulties between Australia and Afghanistan? So in terms of the culture, so you go out on the street, let's say you went out on the street in Afghanistan versus you go out on the street in Australia. What were some of the biggest differences for you?
For me personally, it was the way we get dressed, the way we get like our clothing's done. It was different. It was difficult because in my country it was just Afghans, like normal tradition Afghan clothes you will see on the streets. But it was different in here. Like everyone, they had their own type of style, their own way of clothing.
I'm very ill-informed about, Afghanistan culture, but can you tell us a little bit about what like the clothing is like?
Yeah, like we normally wear like we don't have tight pants, or like we don't wear tight clothes, tight dressing. It's if you've seen Afghan traditional clothes, like there were different styles, like men and women, they were the traditional way. It's
much more uniform or consistent.
Yeah.
Right. I prefer to wear baggier clothes. I think they're much comfier.
Yeah, they're very comfortable.
What about things such as, let's say, the local shopping centre? So was there any differences there for you?
Yeah, there weren't many like big shopping centres like here, like Kmart, Target. It was just those small ones. But I've realized it was those small spaces that you could find the best piece of items that you would wanted. Yeah, like it was very easy for me to buy things in my country. Now, like I have to go out for shopping for an hour, and I come home like with nothing.
Yeah.
Adila, were you living in a village or in a town, or were you living in Kabul in the suburbs, or how would you describe the setting of where you spent most of your time growing up?
I was born in kind of a village, but like I moved to Herat. It was like the big city, one of the big cities in Afghanistan, like when I was 5 or 6. Yeah, until like 2021, I lived in Herat.
When we spoke on the phone, you said from my memory, there were 2 different dialects of the language. Which one do you speak mostly?
I speak Dari.
And do you speak English at home?
No.
Or mostly Dari?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make it hard when you're in class and you need to focus? The first few months of settling into Australia, did it make it hard to learn in class?
Yeah, like switching from one language to another, especially if you're a new learner, it's hard. Like some days I was going to school, like I wanted to ask my friend something. I was saying half of the sentence in Dari and half of it in English. Yeah, and it was very confusing for my friends.
Is there a term when you mix both of them? So, for example, if I'm speaking Tagalog, which is Filipino, in English, they call it Taglish. or I think Chinese and English, they call it Chinglish. Is there a D? Yeah, there's all these different strange terms. They mix parts of each language into one, so you can somewhat understand it. Is there a variation of that for you?
There are words like now that I think they're English words, but we say it in kind of our own words. Yeah.
So it's not like Dalish or no. That's all good.
Maybe, I don't know.
So with your schooling and like the big changes you had to make once you came to Australia, so first you had to go off to the intensive English centre, so you had to prepare yourself to go to that place to learn English, and that would have been a very intensive kind of intense experience, which it's supposed to be. And then you had to make another transition to the local high school out of the intensive English centre. Were you a bit apprehensive about making that change once you left the intensive English centre?
Yeah.
Much bigger setting, like intensive English. Is it one class or is there a few classes?
There are classes, there are several classes, depending on your level of English.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're with a smaller group of...
Yeah.
And then you're thrown into the local high school. Yeah. How did you find that? Were you had more English, obviously, at that point?
Yeah, everyone was saying, high school is kind of hard. It's, in a while, when you go, it's huge. But I was, at the end of leaving intensive English center, I was scared.
You weren't?
I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't want to go to high school. I said, the first year I'll fail every subject.
Do you still feel like that way about high school?
No.
No? That's good.
Because in intensive English center, you meet people with the same level of English. You're all new to the country. But when you go to high school, it's different. Yeah, everything's different.
So were you still in primary school going into high school when you were here? Or were you already in high school?
I already had to go to high school.
Were in. That would have been hard because as everyone has been through year 7, the first few weeks is where everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's sort of trying to meet new people. But for you, that would have had to come in at a later stage and they've already established that. Was that a difficult transition? So did you notice areas where people had already established friend groups and that type of thing?
Yeah. In my country, I didn't really go to year 7. I just started year 7 and then the whole thing happened. Taliban took over and I started here in year 8. Yeah.
Year 8, yeah. It's a lot of, looking back, a lot of people have already sort of formed their friendships, so it was must have been really hard for you. Would you like to tell us something about your culture that may not be well known to most people in Australia? Is there something interesting that you guys do in terms of tradition or practice or anything like that?
Absolutely, there are many things. I don't know which one to say.
What's your favorite one?
My favorite one is the Afghan wedding.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's not like Australia, we don't celebrate it for a day. There are many celebrations. It's kind of, if we count it in total, it's 3 days for women, because we love celebrating, yeah. Yeah, one day it's the henna day. The other is the actual, engagement and the wedding day, and one day after the wedding. Yeah.
Have you ever been to one of those?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Many or just a few?
I've been to many, yeah. As I grew up in Afghanistan, I went through, so many weddings.
What kind of things do they do at the weddings?
Well, in Afghanistan it's different than here, because in my country, after the wedding was finished in the hall, we used to go in these mini buses, around the city, and then we used to go like this a small handkerchief, and we had to like take it out the windows. Yeah, and with the music, it was very nice.
To kind of announce to
Yeah.
everybody that these people have gotten married and we're celebrating their...
Yeah.
Yeah. And day 1 and day 2, of the wedding, is that females only? And then day 3, the actual wedding is where everyone comes together or not?
They do it together as well, but it's mainly the women.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when the women are having the henna, what are the men doing day 1?
Maybe they're just sitting in the hall having tea.
They're still working.
Yeah, but some weddings, like if they have very like happy guests, they dance too, like they celebrate in their own ways. But not all weddings are like men celebrate,
That's
like
interesting.
women. Yeah,
So is there a big emphasis on the woman in the wedding?
yeah.
Mm.
Like we love celebrating weddings and like getting dressed. It's very nice.
Yeah. How interesting. It's really cool.
And are there some values and beliefs that come from Afghan culture that are very important to you, that you will keep close to you and continue those beliefs regardless of where you live in the world?
My religion, like in my country, in Afghanistan, like it's Islam, and I'm Muslim, and I would love to keep my religion as I go. Yeah, as I grow older. Yeah.
So what was it like being, was it really important for you to be with your family, so your parents and your siblings, as you guys were starting over in Australia?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you still play with your siblings like every day, like trying to sort of keep the good times going from back in Afghanistan?
It's not like Afghanistan anymore, but like I do. My relationship with my sisters, we're really close, and we always have our little fights, and little games.
Yeah, as it is with sibling relationships, of course. Yeah, I'm the same with my brother. No need to worry.
With the importance of the Muslim religion for yourself, has that been also a way of connecting with other people in Australia, to find communities that, or a sense of community in Australia that you can tap into?
Yeah, like I've met a lot of Muslim friends. Like before coming to Australia, I had no knowledge about Australia. I didn't know how like multicultural Australia is. I thought like it's just Australians, Aussies, like no other like ethnic groups living in Australia. But when I came here, I met a lot of different religious groups, same as Muslims, and that was very good because I kind of connected with my friends, and I was way more comfortable because we had the same religion and also same way of doing a celebration.
Yeah. And what about with other people that come from Afghanistan? Is there much of an Afghani community in Sydney?
Yeah, there are a lot of Afghans in Sydney. Yeah.
What was your first idea about Australia? So before you came here, like if you thought of the word or the country Australia, like what sort of comes to mind?
And just a continent.
Yeah, just as a whole.
Yeah.
So I know, for example, when I went overseas once, they'd say, "Do you have a pet kangaroo, or do you ride wombats everywhere?" And I said, "Yes."
Well, I didn't know anything about Australia. I didn't even know like which city am I gonna be living in. I just knew that I'm going to somewhere called Australia, that is surrounded by water. Yeah.
Did you know that Australia was English speaking? That it had the origin. We're an English colony, pretty much. Did you know that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew like they speak English and they were colonized by like England.
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't know more.
Wow. So being a multicultural country, that was a big surprise for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the beach, like, in Australia?
yeah.
What was it like the first time you just saw open water?
It was great. You could feel like the sensation that you're alive. You could like smell the water. Like I don't love the smell of the water, but it's nice.
Salt
yeah.
water, yes, yeah.
Yeah, like in my country, like I haven't been to beaches. I don't even know if there is any beaches in my country. But yeah, it was very nice. It was my first time being at a beach in Australia.
Do you remember which beach?
It was Wollongong.
Oh, Wollongong Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good place to start. So we're going to jump into a bit of a hypothetical question. So let's say that we went to a shopping centre. Doesn't have to be the one outside Bankstown Centro. But let's say we've gone to this massive shopping centre. Within the shopping centre, there's a food court. And this food court contains cuisines from every single country or every single type of culture. Saying that, what would be the first one that you would go to, and why would you pick that one?
That is a hard one. I would go for the Japanese culture.
Sure.
Because I want to try the sushi.
The sushi.
Yeah, sushi. I want to try sushi.
Have you ever tried sushi before?
Like I tried it once. It wasn't really good.
Wasn't good? You
No,
need to go
it
to the
wasn't
fresh
really good.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best. That's all good. Now, after a while, you settled into Sydney and you were starting a new lifestyle. You're trying to explore your interests as well. One of those, as you mentioned, was Taekwondo. Can you tell us about how you sort of found Taekwondo and martial arts in general?
It's as I said, like in the phone, it's the only place I feel like really connected to the rest of the class. It's the only place I can feel like I'm being myself and really happy without just pretending that I'm happy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could say that you would go in, in a bit of a bad mood or a bit sad or flat from the day, and then you would say you would leave the class pretty happy?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's always like, I'm having this little fight with my brother. I'm saying like, I'm not going to speak to you anymore. And then after class, when I come home, like, I'm as normal, like with him, yeah.
What is it about the class? So when you're in there, you're actually training. Do you think you can pinpoint? Is it the techniques? Is it the self-defense? Is there certain values inside that teaches you anything?
Yeah, it's definitely the discipline, friendship, and also respect. Like I love how we go and like respect our teacher by bowing. Yeah.
Do you have to bow as soon as you come into the dojo? Because where I train, it's become reflex now that it's almost you're going to get kicked out if you don't bow at the door. You got to bow to every single black belt, and then because I'm black belt, they have to bow to me, which only to teachers. So do you have to do a similar thing like that?
Yeah, we bow to our teacher, and like whenever we hand in equipment to another person in the class, we bow.
How did you get into Taekwondo?
Well, I was working in this shop, and then like I just saw these two customers outside of the shop. They had the uniform on. Like I said, like I'm gonna go to like martial arts. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna definitely do it, because before I came to Australia, I wanted to do martial arts. My friends were doing, our neighbors, and because of some like problems, I couldn't go. And then when I came here, I asked my parents. They said like, yeah, if you want. They were not really sure about whether I have to go or no, I should go. And then when I met those two students from my class that are now in my class, with their uniform, I was really inspired. I wanted to go. Like from that night, I left work. I went home straight. I told my mom like I'm going to martial arts. Yeah.
That's so cool. I had a similar story when I was 7 or 8. we went to a fair in like a park, and there was a karate stall. And I think I stayed there for the entire thing. Like, I think that all packed up, and I was still there like, this is so cool. And then, yeah, very similar to that, I went home and I said, I want to do martial arts. Yeah, so it's that build up of passion that you get to get into something like that. Do you remember the first time? So they start at white belt, correct?
Yeah.
The next belt is yellow belt. What did it feel like when the sensei was putting the yellow belt around you? Was that a big moment for you?
Yes, like when I received the belt, I said like, now I'm the champion. Yeah, like it's not really good to say, but like I kind of show off to my brother and my sister at home. I'm saying like, if you fight with me, I'm I'm a purple belt.
Are you purple belt now?
Yeah, I'm a purple.
That's cool. And do you want to get your black belt?
Yeah.
Yep. It's a lot of work to get your black belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a black belt is a white belt that never gave up. So discipline. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from your journey with Taekwondo so far? So for me personally, it was discipline and one of respect, because with discipline, you're essentially having to defend yourself in class, but you have to come back the next week and do it all over again. And of course they're your friends, but there is some level of, they're launching a physical attack towards me. I need to defend myself. Is there anything like that for you that comes to mind?
It's respect. I also feel the same as you. Like, it's respect. I've been respected like since I entered the dojo. Like, I feel I'm being respected. I'm being respectful towards others, in the dojo. Like, it makes us feel really good. You feel connected to other members in the class.
Because it's against the martial arts law to be physically disrespectful, and just in terms of communicating respectful like that as well. What type of friends have you made from Taekwondo? So are they of Australian background, different types of backgrounds?
No, all from like different types of backgrounds.
It's exciting. And so you talk about respect being the most important lesson. How has it shaped what you do outside of Taekwondo? So for me, when I walk on the street, the first thing people to say to me is, you're a black belt, you can do anything you want. But the rule is, when you're a black belt, you're actually a weapon. So you need to carry yourself in a very controlled manner. So for me, when I walk around the street, it's about, being an example of not being one to exert anger towards others. So do you feel something similar or a bit different?
Yeah, definitely the same. Because like, even if I'm doing martial arts, like, you're not supposed to hurt someone. Like, you're doing it for yourself. And like, you should be respectful at all times. Like, you don't need to go to a dojo to be respectful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
And I guess practicing that discipline in all areas of life, do you see that carry through, like the discipline, the control that...
Yeah, I feel it most through my school life.
With your studies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very similar. It's like, if you can do 50 push-ups, you can do your homework.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Adila, what's one example of your culture or even your religion that you feel might be misunderstood in the wider community, that you feel like should be addressed, that you'd like to address?
Well, everyone thinks that like Afghanistan is just a war-torn country, just everyone talking about war. But in fact, there's so much more to Afghanistan that no one knows. Like, it's a country that you feel alive in. You're connected to every single person that you see in the street. You're connected to the environment, and you'll be respected.
So it's beyond the connotation of, it's a country that has a lot of war, because I think a lot of the idea that when we think of Afghanistan, especially if we don't know too much about it, is that, oh, you know, there's a lot of war over there and that's the only thing that sort of comes to mind. So it's beyond those types of things, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like feeling connected to everyone in Afghanistan yourself, like, do you think that's partly because everyone or most people are Afghani and have grew up with that same culture, with the same kind of values, like, whereas, I mean, I'm thinking about a contrast with Australia where, as you say, it is very multicultural, and this local community is very multicultural. Is that what you mean, like, when you're in Afghanistan, you're connected to everybody? Is that part of the connection, that you do share that those cultural values and practices, etc.?
Yeah. Like, there are different ethnic groups.
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're all living in the same country. Yeah, same type of lifestyle.
What do you see as some positive aspects living in Australia and in this community in southwest Sydney?
I'm really proud to say that, like, I love going to school. Like, I love going to school with no fear, but just looking forward towards the end of the day, towards the end of the year, like, with a hope for my future, like, that I could be someone who I really want to be.
And what is that person to you? That's a big question to answer.
Yes.
What's one thing that you would like from yourself?
I would want to be a person who would not feel regret, like, that I didn't do this when I was young. I didn't do, like, good. I should have tried doing something that I didn't do. Yeah, I want to be someone who doesn't say in the future, like, oh my God, I regret my time. Why did I grow up? I want to be happy when I grow up that, like, yeah, I've achieved so many things. I've done whatever I could, and I've tried my best.
Hopefully you'll look back on this in 10 years and say,
yes,
you were right. That's good.
So you feel that also Australia instills in you a capacity to have a positive future, a safe and positive future, would you say?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So in October last year, you were the winner of the Youth Inspiration Award. What did it mean to you when you won that award? So you were telling me on the phone it's one of your favourite moments so far. Can you run us through a bit what it was like for you in that moment?
I was just overly happy. I was so happy. Like, my teachers, most of my teachers, they were in here in the library as well. And then, like, when I entered the door and my teacher said, like, yes, like, they were so happy for me. They were like, I thought they were way happy. They were more happy than I am. Like,
well, that's a good thing. Yeah. And do you remember the moment that you learnt that you'd won the award?
Yeah, like, it was a long line. Kind of, I was just on the stage thinking. I didn't know which way to look. Where's my parents?
Was there like a big spotlight, like, onto the stage, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't see the crowd because the light's on you and there's just darkness everywhere.
Yeah, kind of, like, I said, like, where's my parents? Did they left already? Like, because I couldn't find them. I say, like, wait, I'm winning this award. Why did you left?
They were there though, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, that's the important part. And you said your Eurovisor was there. Yeah, so it seems like you have a really good relationship with your Eurovisor. What role did they play in your schooling life so far? What do they mean to you?
The key point of my schooling, like, every day I go to school, like, I know that my teachers are gonna be there. Like, I'm gonna smile at them every day, and it makes you very inspired. It makes you motivated to go to school every day. Yeah, like I'm not really social with my friends, but just having the teachers that really supports me, like it's everything.
Did you sort of have like a parental bond with your year advisor?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I still remember my year advisors, Mrs. Hamilton and Mr. Al-Mazri. Yeah, so because I remember it was almost like you go to school and they become your parents, you know, and you can turn to them if things are, you know, if you need help with anything like that. So, yeah, but it's really incredible that they were there to see you win the award. And how about your family? Was it really inspiring for your family to see you win the award?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my sister was just so happy for me. Yeah.
Did you get to meet anyone at that award ceremony? So the mayor was there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like meeting the mayor of Bankstown?
It was good, like standing next to the mayor, receiving an award from him. Like you could feel special. You're just feeling you're special. I know, like everyone is special. In that receiving this award, it was a great moment.
It means something to you, right?
Yeah, it means.
Of course.
It means
yeah.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it means so much.
That's very beautiful. So let's take a look at what your current focus is, or what you're trying to do at the moment. So you're heading into year 10 this year, and you mentioned before you're doing electives in textiles. What's your goal with your academics? And they're heading into your senior year, so year 11 and 12. What is something you'd hope to achieve for yourself?
I would like to achieve this consistency of doing my homeworks, and also just studying every night, not just leaving it for the last day of the assessment tasks.
Don't leave it to the night before, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
It's kind of what I always do, but I'm looking forward to not do that this year.
Yeah, that's a good mindset.
And Adila, you've overcome a huge amount of challenges to being here today, having this conversation with us. You came to Australia 3 years ago, and without speaking very much English at all, and in this community and in Australia also as a whole, what do you think is important for us to do to make our new arrivals feel more welcome in this country, in this community?
Well, that is a question that is really hard to answer. When I first came here, I felt welcomed, the first moment I came. But just having more translators, more people who can speak English and Dari or Afghan language. It really helps, because a lot of Afghans, they don't speak English when they first come here.
Do you think there are enough translators at the moment?
I have no idea, because I haven't really been in that situation. But even if my mom doesn't speak English, and if she goes somewhere that she needs English, I'd really be happy. My mom would really be happy that if there is someone to help her.
Was there a moment, you said that the people were very welcoming. Do you remember a particular moment where you felt welcomed by people in Australia? Is there a particular memory?
Yeah, when we got off the bus. From
the airport, right?
Yeah, from the airport. My brother received this little teddy bear with the Australian sign. Yeah.
The souvenir ones?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Who did he receive that from?
I don't know. They were all wearing those COVID-19 uniforms. I don't know.
What was it like? Because when you came here, so everyone was wearing face masks and not hazmat suits, but probably a layer of protection. Was that daunting to see?
Yes, because in my country we don't do that. It wasn't that extreme level of protection.
That's peculiar, because Australia, mostly in terms of the way that we dress, is less is usually more. So people are wearing singlets, shorts, all the like, but it must have been like, wow, they're really covering themselves up.
Yeah.
Yeah, some weird virus or something like that. I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, absolutely. And what would you hope for Bankstown in terms of all the different cultures and stuff? So from your experience, how can we better support people fleeing their home countries to come to Australia? So how would you approach it? So if there was a migrant from a different country, from your lived experience, how would you approach them in terms of socializing?
I would go to them and like ask them if they are okay, and I would say like if you have anything you can ask, or if you want to say anything, I'm here to listen to your story, because like everyone has a very interesting story, hard story. Yeah, I would love to listen to their story, and if they need anything that I could help them with.
Yeah, that's very wise. As I don't know who said it, as someone once said, the wisest person in any room is the person that has listened to everyone, or the quietest one. So yeah, that's very good. So we're jumping back to your education. Now, as you might have mentioned before, that your goals and what you would like to do with your life is changing every single week. What would you like to do with life after high school at the moment? Is there anything that comes to mind, or is the immediate get through high school the biggest focus?
Yeah, I want to do my HSC, like ATAR.
Yep.
I want to do like a good job in it, so like I'm just hoping that by the end of doing HSC there is something in my mind that it really interests me. Yeah, like there's so many things that I want to be like. That's
no, that's the best way to go about it. Yeah, because you're not supposed to have life figured out at 16 or 23 or sometimes even 50 years old. So there's no set time you need to have it figured out. But it's good you're focusing on the present. What would you see yourself in 10? You touched on it before, but where do you see yourself in about 10 years' time? What would you see yourself doing?
I would like to see myself helping more people coming from other countries. Like I want to run a charity.
Yeah, that's good.
Like I want to be in an organization that helps people like coming from other countries.
In what way would it help them? So, for example, we have things like Meals on Wheels. We have things for mental health. So, like, would there be a specific area that you would focus on?
Mental health.
Mental health. Yep.
Well, yeah, like I remember when I came here, like in Afghan perspective, like my mental health was perfect, but yeah, like as I stayed in Australia, I realized that how important it is to have a good mental health, and I would really love others to have that if I can just help a bit.
Yeah, that's very noble.
Improving them.
How important is mental health for you? And is it something that still has a stigma in your culture? Do you think?
Well, in my culture, we don't really like see mental health as a big issue, but it is very important, especially for me, like as I deal with a lot of these challenges, such as living in Australia, like.
Yeah, displacement is one of the key factors that affects mental health in people coming from different countries, not just to Australia, but people that lived in Australia and they moved somewhere else, and all of a sudden they're quite isolated. And from your experience, like it's they're having to sort of start over again. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Adila, for coming in and talking to us.
Well, thank you so much for your time, for inviting me.
Do you have one more question for you? To throw a curveball. So there's been a lot of reflection throughout this interview. Let's do one more. So, 13 years old, you've just arrived in Australia. Let's say we brought that girl into the room right now. What would be something that you would tell her as she settles into Australia?
Well, I would say like, look, Adila, this is like the land of opportunity for you. Like, you can do things that you dreamed of doing and you were not able to do in your country, but now you can do it. Like, there's not really many reasons to stop you from doing your best. Yeah, like, and achieve things that would make you proud and your family.
Yeah, you should be very proud of what you've achieved so far and what you're going to achieve in the near future. Well, from all of us here at Voices of CBCity, we thank you very much for coming on and sharing your experiences with us. We wish you the very best of luck in your future endeavours, so your HSC in a couple of years, and make sure you get your black belt in Taekwondo as well.
Thank you so much, James.
To finish off Voices of CBCity today, we'll be featuring a different kind of voice of CBCity, students in the Respect program. The Respect program is facilitated by local community youth arts organisation based in Bankstown named Out Loud. Respect is a music program for boys under 12 years old, teaching them about domestic violence and gender equality with a view to prevent and reduce domestic violence in the future. Over 12 weeks, the boys write, record, and perform an original song, and also become active agents of social change and role models in their schools. There are some amazing songs that you can check out on Out Loud's YouTube channel, but for today, we hope you enjoy Girls Are Winners and Achievers by students from Regents Park Public School.
Hey guys, Mackenzie Arnold here. Just wanted to give a big shout out to my boys at Regent Park Public School. Love your work for promoting women in sport. Great video, keep up the good work, and hopefully can catch you all very, very soon.
Girls are winners and achievers and play any sport they want to. Some boys say girls can't play sport, but that's just not true. Don't be offensive, treat girls right. Always see women in a positive light. We all strive to score this goal, equality and fairness as a whole. Women deserve to have a good life. Husband between husband and wife. People think that girls can kick, but that's not true. Girls are sleek, mistreated, angry is what we don't want. Equality king should be up front. Girls could be mechanics or builders. They could be successful like the Matildas. Be a role model to the younger kids. Violence is something we all forbid. Like in your head, the skills within. Respecting women is the way to win. Girls are winners and achievers and play any sport they want to. Some boys say girls can't play sport, but that's just not true. Girls are tough and strong on the field. They can come first and win the shield. Women are heroes and strong leaders. They are very successful achievers. Domestic violence is never welcome. Know how to stop as the best outcry. Don't be that guy to make it go quiet. Oh, you're not my friend. Bye bye. Deactivate your violent silence. Rid this violence worldwide. Girls try hard to do it with pride. As a boy, I stand by their side. Show that you care from a young age. Don't wait till you get engaged. Soccer, cricket, or basketball. Name a sport, girls play them all. Girls are winners and achievers and play any sport they want to. Some boys say girls can't play sport, but that's just not true. But that's just not true. But that's just not true.
Hi, I'm Zaid.
And I'm Hadi.
And we're both in Year 6 at Regis Park Public School.
This year we did the Respect program at our school, which is run by Out Loud.
Out Loud is a community organization that runs programs for young people addressing social issues using art and performance.
Each week in the Respect program, we learn all about domestic violence and the importance of healthy relationships.
Then we all work together to write a song called Girls Are Winners and Achievers.
We believe that girls are winners and achievers, so let's stand up and show support.
We hope you enjoyed our song.
Girls are winners and achievers and play any sport they want to. Some boys say girls can't play sport, but that's just not true.